My home is sound. My mind is sound with my mother's mind. I told her I have a temple for our family in the woods. I didn't say explicitly it's for her, but I just said it's a temple for our family, which felt appropriate. She doesn't like too much attention on her. And sure enough, I I anointed the temple yesterday. My mom had a great sleep. She said she felt great. She felt buoyant. She felt like relieved of burden state when she got up, like for some unknown reason. It's great. Really coming into sync with my mom's needs for being, regardless of history and grief and wounds and agonies aplenty. It's interesting, on TV shows they show women who come from modest means marrying into tons amount of money, tons and tons of money, and like they can just sort of fit in, and now they're one of them, and they mate with them, because their parents both are upper middle class entrepreneurs and business people. They make enough money to send her to this really expensive school in Europe, filled with other children or young men who can afford to own and board and stay overseas and jump fences for a living, essentially, while swapping genitalia. And she comes home and ends up marrying into this super rich family. And you see this story repeated in this show several times of starting off modest and getting into great means. But the critical white male in the show, who's at modest means, doesn't manage to marry another woman of modest means. She goes for a man of higher economic status. She marries up. She falls more in love with up. He doesn't have their manners, right? He's more awkward than the man of higher economic means. He's more sure of himself at the same time, more sure of what he wants. He finds a way to figure out where he stands in the world, but his world will always be one where he is given the highest esteem, as long as he stands in the right place. And it will be a great place for them to be. That's the world of the rich. Wherever they fit in life, it's a great place for them to be. They're always in a great place. You know, they always they have esteem given to them. Enough that for those of you who work at having esteem, they don't have to work at it. In some sense, they're better actors and actresses. In another sense, what would be acting for an economically challenged man or woman, or putting on airs and these sorts of things, it is very difficult compared to what it is for higher economic status people. They're better actors. They're more fluent in the theatrical nature of human society and economics. They understand in ways that a poor person might not, that you can make more money running a business than working for one. You can make even more money franchising or investing in various real estate and this, and expanding your portfolio than in just working as a fry cook for 10 years and putting yourself through community college. They have a different sense of reality. And because of that, they have the confidence and the ability and the mentoring to go for higher earning capacity. They have the sharkiness to do it. They're used to it. So you may go through business school with a higher income economic family. Let's say you could make it into Harvard or Yale Business School, and you come from a family that had to rely on scholarships and grants and making sure you had some high rank on the school football team to get you through. And you're going to have a very different view of reality, very different set of opportunities. But to be fair, a lot of upper middle class people do accept lower middle class people into their ranks. They like they like to sign up new members, you know. Yeah. And there's more than you would think that are just scraping their way in. I'm trying to meet out my time efficiently, so since I'm still starting my day, we'll limit this to a stretch. Flow Rider. Motorbikes have cool names, right? I'm gonna call myself the Flow Rider today. Flow Rider. How does it feel to be the Flow Rider? It feels pretty good, Don, because it's kind of what I do. Today, nature is telling me to flow. Flow. It's fun to have. I haven't had a keyword in years, so I like to have keywords. First, it could be you're hypnotized by the CIA word, and you should now begin assassinating your friends. Flow. Keyword is flow. Hey, dude, I started thinking about flowing, and I need to kill you. Okay, let's go. I mean, we see creepy things. Look at there's a heart in this. We see creepy things on TV movies all the time. But I notice that when I say something creepy, that I'm able to kind of elaborate or upon something I've seen with my mom on TV, and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's disgusting." I'll be like, "Mom, it's no different than what we see on blah 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 TV show," and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're right." She just there's no more objections anymore. It's like, huh, it's interesting, you know. It's like I'm not so concerned about the release of the objection as the rising of the objection. You know, you know, having seen so much violence in the world, I think sometimes like just making jokes about it is fine to me because it does tell us in ways that other people might be shocked. You know, we see a lot of violence, just simulated violence. So to tell a joke about it, like, hey, wouldn't it be fun to like get a car and run over some school children? I mean, come on. They're just gonna fall off a cliff in Zimbabwe on a student exchange anyway. Um, their parents are going to abuse them. You'd be like the villain in a TV show. It's like, I'm going to kill all the children. You're abusing them anyway. I'm saving them years of pain. That'd be good. Made the TV movie at like 3:30 in the afternoon. It's like, what are you watching, darling? Oh, nothing. This is man who wants to kill all children to save us from the torture of being born. Oh, that's nice. Are you feeling okay? Oh, yeah. It's really cool. You should see all the ways he's invented to kill children. One is put them in front of a TV for thousands of hours a month and let them play video games too to make thousands of incredibly important decisions that take them absolutely nowhere. That's nice, son. Okay. Then you have to think about all of the subconscious suggestions in video games all over the place. Oh, the subconscious is nothing. It does nothing. It is nothing. Everything is exactly the way I see it. One tiny blip at a time. I live in the moment. My subconscious is unnecessary. The past doesn't exist. The future hasn't happened. All there is now. I am pleasantly medicated. What interests me is not that people think that, but that people could think that. Because they don't mind giving up their future in the past to a new age gimmick. The moment. What a great idea. Hey, I got a new one. Let's pretend the past never goes away and live there all the time. Dude, like, that's so much more advanced than the moment. Let's pretend that everything that's born is born from the future and the past, in the very nature of celestial biology and that of the essence of time itself. Dude, that's even further beyond. Like, I'm living in the 5 dimension in the future, channeling my gonads into my girlfriend's pussy. I therefore give up all paternity rights because I need to look over my other spirit babies. That's good. That's very good. I see the moment has worked really well for you. You see, there wouldn't be any trouble with abstract thinking, new age, spiritual, religious, scientific, psychological, psychiatric, if it worked, you know, if it allowed us to, whatever, to stretch, to move the mind and body and thoughts and feelings and brain and encompassed a greater field of creative intelligence. That, as wonderful as it is, and it was important to look at beauty and wonder at the power and the practical value of all creative intelligence and the nature of time itself in ways that feel good. And it stretched the mind and not only give us a rest, but give us a better leverage. It was almost like the world wasn't pushing us to cataclysm and death. It was pushing us to getting better leverage, just to encompass a little bit more with our abstract thinking about the nature of our lives in a way that we can be adequately pushed by all the pains of our lives. You know? To grow is not to grow without pain, but it's not to avoid learning from it either. Because much of what I consider pain are things that no one wants their children to live with, like unresolved grief. You know, you don't have to look too far in the English vernacular. Just unresolved grief, pain, right? You've just emotionally nailed 250 million white people who have grown up with generations of unresolved grief. Relieve that from the world, which is basically no more practical thing than to clean your fucking carburetor or the cylinders in your engine or changing your fucking oil. But we never do it. It all comes just gritted up in there, chewing us up, leading to all kinds of unnecessary explosions of human violence. Right? How much stress can you really live under? As people get older, their aches, their pains, they have to look across the table at the same ugly fucking face every day of their lives. Not because they are so ugly, but because they become ugly to us because they've treated us in an ugly fashion. Psychosis that can't be discussed, you must be subjected to, and you must learn to live with like a fucking angry gorilla in every other fucking part of your life, so you can never ever really feel safe again. That's ugly. You know, and living with that, it's stupid, but it's also love, and it's compassion. And it's the true heroism of the human race. And the true stupidity of it. It's the crucible. And someone says you're stupid, or someone says you're a hero, and you think you're neither, or you're a victim, or you're on the cutting edge of making the world a better place by finding one scintilla of relief from the endless specter of fear, terror, dominance, and control that is human psychosis, that has a greater genetic priority among many of our family groups than we do. It's built into the survival mechanism. It's an autoimmune dysfunction, which really is a psychosis. Why aren't we correlating these things? Okay? Because people don't encompass enough of their minds. It's right in front of us. Right? The vocabulary of an autoimmune disorder is that of a psychosis. Right? You want to find out why people have autoimmune disorders, find out why they go psychotic. And then you find out why the brain changes as much as it does. Particularly say for white people, white men, white women. There's a reason that when I go to this gas station, it's run by Native people, that the only time I ever have a bad experience in there is when a middle-aged white woman is behind the glass. It's not like bad, it's just bad attitude. It's a creepy attitude. Right? You just see like you can feel they're not happy just being around them. You know, they're miserable. Their bodies are very stiff in their movements. Their faces don't have a lot of expression, right? There's no joy there. You know? And we can all be happy and we can all be sad, and there's a lot of grief to pass around, but it's like they've just chosen a kind of setting that's just numb aggression. It's more, and it's just like a rough exterior they wear around every day of their lives. Deep encrusted grief. The gravy stains of years gone by. You feel it. Just feel it. It's like, you know, I hate being a feeling person sometimes. You know, I'm trying to be easier on myself and easier on other people. Because I see her for 15 seconds. She has to live with herself every day. You know, but it's unmistakable. When there's anyone else at that till, man or woman, usually Native, and the last time I was in it was a white male, perfectly fine, congenial human being. But you know, she doesn't seem like she wants to be there. Totally different. And quite frankly, I don't imagine I could do much better. But I don't work with people, and thankfully I don't have to. Right? I'm not a people person. At some point in your life, you have to figure out if you like people, and it's not about being an introvert or extrovert. A lot of people who say they're extroverts, but don't seem to like people very much. Just like there are people who say they like women, but don't seem to like women very much, and so forth. I get along best with lesbians and bisexuals. I get along worst with bisexual men, bisexual women, who unfortunately can also develop not even feelings, just they're open. You know, what happens is like, you know, children are open. We can all be open, and none of us can be open. Well, you know, we're vulnerable, and like say a pedophile will see in a child's openness as consent. Right? Right? If you get attracted to someone who's younger, male or female, part of what you might be attracted to is their openness. Right? I've been preyed on by older women who say, "Oh, you're just open. You're open-coded." She used an extra word, but what she really meant is you seem so open. Right? And just amazing how they interact based on this premise, which you might think is just a compliment. Like you're just an open-minded person, but it's not it. Right? To me, a young woman seems very open-minded, you know, but I don't see that as consent. You know? They're open. They're so open, right? They can be, right? Talking about this, that, yeah. See, I don't see that as an opening for me, but I notice a lot of older people do. People who work with children do. They see that as like they're open to them. They're open to their instruction. No, you're really forcing them to take it, actually. And they're just open to being forced to listen to you, just like I was, right? My teachers forced me to listen to them against my will. It wasn't for my best. I didn't want to be there. I took every opportunity to go home. I fled school at times at 6, 7 years of age. And they'd bring me back and smile at me. And I got their A's and I filled all of the forms because it was a stress response. I was good at school as my coping strategy. I fled into my schoolwork. Right? Right? And none of these so-called professionals got that because they were getting what they wanted from me. It's a narcissistic system. Right? I don't know where I am. Okay, okay. I'm glad I started walking again. It really got a bit colder. It's beautiful and it's fucking cold. I've got a stick I'm using. I'm gonna take that up now because I need to, with these gloves. You have to put your hands in the pockets. Okay. I got my gloves all wet dealing with this avalanche of ice back on the trail. Like this white woman goes by, she doesn't even thank me. I've just cleaned like 300 pounds of ice off the trail, sweating and hauling it, collecting it with my feet and my hands, getting on my hands and knees and doing this. I'm just like, oh, really? Oh, be careful. Uh-huh. I'm almost done. I'm putting dirt on the ice so people have a bit of attraction. But I'm not totally covering the ice so they can see that it's ice. Just to get a little bit of grip as they walk across. But it's old people and stuff. It's a dangerous zone. I leave about a 100-pound block of ice just sitting there. I want them to see that it's a dangerous place to walk, which is what I saw. And I cleared away most of the evidence. Yeah, it's just white men are up here. I met a nice one early in the long, but he's the best guy I meet, really. He's a great white man. Others are weird. It's like they've lived in institutions their whole lives. They work in institutions. They really are institutional people. These are the really scary looking people. They can't even hold a conversation with a stranger in the woods. They could learn from their dogs on how to be a better person. Really, and how to just basic socialization. Learn to smell, learn to use your nose, learn to use your ears. This guy is nervous around me. It's coming out as a bit territorial and passive aggressive. I realize they don't mean it. They're just nervous. They don't use their senses. And then it's like other things start to kick in, which is like they overdo it. And they deal with fear by being aggressive instantly. They're worse than wildlife. I've met them and they'll talk to me. They have to talk about their real estate, where they live. It's all about power and dominance. I'm just like, holy shit, white people. Anyway, my hand is feeling better. It always feels better for me. My hands are cold. I'm like, no, my hands are cold. It's okay, dear. Okay. Do you know what I know? Oh, that's the path I was looking for yesterday. This is silly. And I walked past here and I'm like, oh, I missed it. It's like, it's right there. Okay, if I'm lucky, I get some up on that. Oh, I'm tired all the time. I have eaten a bear. It's good. I need to eat some more. I will need to eat some more. I will need to eat some more. I will need to eat some more. I really need to eat some more. So I've done some work today. Cleared the trail. I cleared a bunch of snow from the trees. So I used up my main wool gloves doing all that so my hands wouldn't get cold. Because the last thing I want to do is start walking around with the snow with your bare hands and the ice. You think you can, but it's not good. You can actually cut yourself here. So I have my gloves on. Oh, fuck it. So they're all done for the day. So I've got my backup cotton gloves in there. They're okay to a degree. My left hand actually seems to be the one they, thankfully not both, just my left hand can get a little cooler nuts. I'll put my hand in my pocket, it's fine. Because I've warmed up enough. And by the time I get to this crossing down here, I basically completed a pretty damn good warm up. Yeah, I cleared a few hundred pounds of ice off the trail. A little avalanche. But it's not dangerous. Otherwise, people have trouble walking through. And it's looking a lot. Jeez. Jizzle fuck. I know this girl named Giselle who sexually harassed me a few months ago. I don't shop there anymore. And I just left it. And Jizzle fuck. I just call her Jizzle fuck. And it's a perfect example of how women hurt men. And a few things need to be touched on right away. I'm willing, for the sake of women's safety and so forth, and YouTube, so they don't strike my videos, to say a few things about this. One is, I'm pretty sure they can't help it. There certainly is a vast distinction between our points of view. I'd like to maintain that I have the right to call sexual harassment whenever I want, as long as I keep it to myself. I'm not like, hey, you're sexually harassing me, stupid bitch, kind of thing. Because in the realm of sex, women are meant to be given an extraordinary range of liberty. Now, that's a bit ironic and maybe a bit bitter of me to say, a bit cynical, but I think we have to meet halfway on that. I think women just have a lot of leeway, or need to, in the realm of sex, in terms of how they treat men, because I get sexually harassed all the time. I don't like 90% of women that even come up to me at all who are white. The way they look at me, the way they talk to me, the way they use my name. I hate it when they ask me my name. Fuck, I hate it, because then this one lady, she uses it every fucking time she sees me. My favorite guy in this woods, we meet, we chat, we go on. We don't use each other's fucking names. It was his wife when she met me who had to get my name and da-da-da-da. That's fine, it's all polite and shit, but real guys don't need to do that. I know his name. I found out his dog's name is Loki. I thought that's fucking cool. I don't need to know his name. He named his dog fucking Loki. That's all I need to know. It's pretty cool. A little chilly. Oh, yeah. Hey there. How's it going today? Yeah, it's lovely. Happy New Year. Thanks. Oh. Name his dog Loki. That's all I need to know. Like, shit. Like, he's a dude. You respect someone. Like, the name doesn't matter. A lot of people, who hate me can use my name. I hate that. People who are bad for you often. I always say, like, anyone who calls my name is not my friend. Hey, you is not an acceptable replacement. It's just like, hey, just like, hey, yo, hey, bro. It's fine. Sir. His lordship is also acceptable. Okay. Or nothing at all. That's why I like dogs. They kind of like nice. Oh, my knees hurt now. Thankfully, my calf muscle went away, and I dealt with my back thing last night. So I'm a happy camper. I've only had one crap today, but it was pretty big. That's okay. I only had one crap today, but it was pretty big. That's okay. Oh, okay. Well, put a hold on my sunlight for a little while. I feel like turning around. It's so cold. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it's okay. There's some blue sky. Okay, let's let me go. It's okay. I don't want to lose my hands to the gangrene, the frostbite. Oh, I'm just lazy. I should open up another yerba mate. Is that a duck? Bird. All birds that float are ducks to me. So it's like, it's a duck. It's a duck. Oh, beautiful duck. Oh, my stomach is talking. That's good. Good day to purify. It's a big psychological thing for white people, the white New Year. It's just strange, because there's like a completely new beginning on December like 23rd, 24th, 25th, 21st, 22nd. is like a totally new beginning in a very distinctive celestial way. That's carried through in the very dynamos of the spheres, you know. But we like to do it 6 days later for some reason. Just how the calendar is set up, and then spring comes along, another new year event like spring. You know, it's like, to me, I consider December 21st to March 21st the blue road. You know, the road we take through the heavens before being born again. And it's like December 21st to 24th is like a great journey involving the conjunction of the heavens and the earth and the momentum of creation, whether it's taking us in another step of our earthly journey or taking us into the next step of our heavenly journey. It's always going to be a journey of some kind, isn't it? And what a wonderful journey it is. I mean, if you can have feet upon the earth and journey with me along here, for instance, where can't you journey? I mean, this is the most difficult journey, the journey of physical life. If you can journey here, you can journey anywhere, right? I mean, look to the extent you've gone to journey here. You think you don't journey anywhere else? You know, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of brute force, it takes a lot of fear and hunger and doubt, it takes a lot of hard work to be a human being. My goodness, there's so many times, like say every day of my life, I've wondered that my mind is able to keep up. And only later in life did I consider how much my heart was trying to keep up. No matter how much it had been telling me a long time ago that it was also trying to keep up with the changing events of my life, changing living conditions. And people may not all call it shocking or traumatic, but I bet most people could think of times in their life where their living conditions changed quite a lot, changed their view on life. Ugh. I realize I don't have anything carbonated today. Carbonated. Do you have anything carbonated? Oh. My mom and dad are doing well. My mom is particularly fancy-free today. I thought that was nice. She got up and feeling good. She got a good sleep. The dog seems to be doing well. She's concerned that he's peeing. I think he was laying in a puddle of his own pee, but the thing is that when he wakes up, he needs to let him pee somewhere right away. That's what he does. So you gotta keep on top of that. My mom sometimes, I think, forgets that you wake, he's ready to pee. So